From a supposedly revolutionary product turning out to be a complete flop, to a successful business going down in flames because of drama between two friends, here are the most controversial Shark Tank deals of all time. Starting with Beam. There's nothing worse than trying to spread cold butter on toast. And that's exactly why Doug Foreman's Beam seemed like a dream come true. It's basically a fancy kitchen gadget that sprays butter onto your food. Sounds genius, right? Well, don't be too quick to make assumptions. When Beam appeared on Shark Tank, the pitch seemed very promising. Lori Greiner was interested and offered a $500,000 investment for 14% equity, which Foreman obviously took. The real problem started with Beam's Kickstarter campaign. Backers were promised a revolutionary product that would make butter spreading a breeze. But when the first version was released, it was a complete flop. Angry backers flooded the comment section with complaints about the uselessness of the gadget. Beam's reputation continued to plummet, as many complaints against the company started popping up on the Better Business Bureau's website. Customers reported receiving faulty and undelivered products, adding to the company's growing list of problems. To make matters worse, the company was short on funding after the failed Kickstarter campaign and the Shark Tank deal falling through. Beam couldn't improve the product, and as a result, the company failed to sell any more units. Fast forward to today, the Beam website is still up, but it's been years since they had any product in stock. I guess the company just couldn't figure out how to fix its issues and eventually closed down. Kind of like what happened to Toy Guru. Have you heard of Toy Guru? No? Well, that's probably because the brand never quite made it. It was supposed to be the Netflix for toys, and parents were psyched at the idea of a subscription service that let them rent different toys every month. Honestly, the concept was just genius. But the execution? Not so much. Despite scoring a sweet $250,000 from big shots like Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary, Toy Guru couldn't catch a break. Founder Phil Smyth blames it on two main problems. First, the sourcing prices for the toys were sky high, making it impossible to offer affordable subscriptions. To make things even worse, their investors were supposed to help out with contacts at big toy companies like Mattel, but it seems like they basically ghosted Toy Guru. The second issue was shipping costs. The toys came in all sorts of sizes, and shipping expenses quickly got out of hand. But Toy Guru was running a free shipping model, which was great for customers, but not so much for the company's wallet. They wanted to change things up for the same reason, but their investors were very stubborn. And then came the Shark Tank appearance. It was supposed to be their big break, but it ended up being their downfall. The sudden influx of business was too much for the startup to handle, and they just couldn't keep up with the demand. Pretty sad, right? But at least Toy Guru wasn't a safety hazard. Can't say the same for the breathometer. Imagine this. You're at a party and you've had one too many margaritas. You know you shouldn't be driving, but your Uber is taking forever to arrive. Then you remember you have a portable breathalyzer that tells you if you're okay to get behind the wheel. It sounds like a dream come true, right? Well, not if it's made by a breathometer. After landing a massive deal on Shark Tank, Breathometer couldn't keep up with the demand for their faulty breathalyzer device. It turned out that the results were about as accurate as a drunk person trying to walk a straight line. I mean, the last thing anyone needs is to get a false reading and end up causing a car accident. So, to no one's surprise, the Federal Trade Commission stepped in and forced Breathometer to issue refunds to all their customers and take the product off the market. Ouch. The Sharks were obviously not pleased, especially Mark Cuban, who called it the worst execution in the history of Shark Tank. It's safe to say that the founder had some explaining to do about how he misspent the $1 million he received from the Sharks. But hey, at least they got a good story out of it. Despite this epic fail, Breathometer is still around, but now with a new product called Mint. This time, they're measuring biomarkers associated with bad breath and gum disease. Hey, who doesn't want fresh breath? They even have a partnership with Philips, which is pretty impressive. It remains to be seen if the sharks are still involved. But one thing's for sure, they won't be investing in any more breathalyzers anytime soon. The same goes for Megan Cummins' You Smell soap. After her appearance on Shark Tank, Cummins thought she had hit the jackpot when Robert Herjavec offered her $55K and a $50K salary for 30% equity in her company, You Smell Soap. After the camera stopped rolling, Megan couldn't get a hold of Robert for 6 months. 6 whole months! It's like he vanished into thin air. Eventually, Robert came back with a different offer, $50,000 for 50% of the company. Thanks, but no thanks, Robert. Megan decided to pass on the new deal. And who can blame her? 6 months of silence is longer than a Hollywood marriage. The delay in communication caused the business to struggle to satisfy the rising demand following the show. And it was no easy feat. After parting ways with Robert, Megan found another investor who ended up buying the whole company. We were all rooting for her. But unfortunately, the story didn't have a happy ending. The business closed its doors not long after the purchase. Another product named Foot Fairy met with the same fate. Kids grow pretty fast, and sometimes it can be pretty hard to tell what size shoes you should get. Sylvie Shapiro and Nicole Brooks knew this struggle all too well, and that's why they founded the Foot Fairy. The app was supposed to measure kids' feet using an iPad camera, and then recommend the perfect shoe size. It seems simple enough, right? Except the app was about as buggy as a Louisiana swamp. It failed to capture commission payments from shoe retailers, which was kind of the whole point of the app. Turns out, Shapiro and Brooks had no experience in app development. So they outsourced the project to developers who missed the mark big time. To add insult to injury, Foot Fairy relied on commission payments from online shoe retailers like Zappos. But since the app couldn't function properly, it didn't bring in any revenue. It's like trying to make a cake without eggs. Sure, you can give it a shot, but it's probably not going to work out. Mark Cuban saw some potential in Foot Fairy and offered $100,000 for 40% equity. But the deal never closed. Probably because he realized that a buggy app and no revenue were a recipe for disaster. Foot Fairy ended up closing shop just 6 months after appearing on Shark Tank. These days, there are plenty of shoe sizing apps available on smartphones that actually work. But there was never another Hycon. Firefighters are heroes, there's no doubt about that. But what if they could do even more? Enter Hycon, the company that was supposed to revolutionize the world of firefighting. Their product? A connector that would allow firefighters to hook up to a fire hydrant in mere seconds, potentially saving even more lives. Jeff Stroop, the founder of Hycon, had high hopes for his company and decided to take his idea to the Shark Tank. Mark Cuban ended up being so impressed by the product that he offered Stroop a whopping $1.25 million for the entire company and a 7% royalty. But as they say, the devil is in the details. Cuban had some big plans for the product that involved licensing it out to other companies, effectively pushing Stroop out of the picture. Yikes! Obviously, Stroop wasn't thrilled with this idea and decided not to accept the new terms of the deal. Despite being granted a patent for his product, Hycon never made it to production, and the company eventually shut down. It's a shame, really, because the potential impact on firefighting was huge. Unlike Hycon, though, Sweetballs actually made a huge breakthrough, only for it to go down in flames. James McDonald and Cole Edgar were on the top of the world when they secured a $250K deal for 25% equity from Mark Cuban and Barbara Cochran on Shark Tank. Sweetballs, their cake ball brand, was a hit, but then drama ensued. McDonald accused Egger of developing a competing product behind his back. And if there's one thing entrepreneurs can't stand, it's a traitor. So McDonald sued his partner and even got a restraining order against him. Unfortunately, all this drama happened right after their Shark Tank episode aired, resulting in a missed opportunity for Sweetballs. Their website went offline, and their Sweetballs domain even redirected to Egger's competing Cakeballs website for a short time. Oof. After the lawsuit, McDonald's regained control of the Sweetballs website and brand. But with the Cakeball craze dying out and the missed Shark Tank opportunity, the business is not doing so well. McDonald now just runs it as a side gig. So, from a successful business going down in flames because of drama between friends, to a supposed revolutionary product turning out to be a complete flop, these were the most controversial Shark Tank deals of all time.